Surprise bill? Need fast funds? CashNet USA can help. When you need money fast, be the hero.
Apply in minutes at cashnetusa.com and get a fast decision. All loans subject to lender approval. Speed of funding is subject to verifications and your bank's processing times.
Now more than ever, Lowe's knows you don't just want a low price, you want the lowest price. And with our lowest price guarantee, you can count on us for competitive prices on all your home improvement projects. If you find a qualifying lower price somewhere else on the same item, we'll match it. Lowe's, we help, you save. Price match applies to same item. Current price at qualifying retailers. Exclusions and terms apply. Learn how we'll match price at lowes.com/lowest price guarantee.
You're listening to Heaving Bosoms, the podcast where two best friends recap romance novels while begging for books with Bishop Beartongue and Zale, the NB lawyer of Sabrina's dreams. Hey, HBs. That intro was a mouthful, but I had to get it all in there. Thank you for coming back for part 2. If you're digging our takes on the Saint of Steel series, you can get a recap of Book 3, Paladin's Hope, over on our Patreon this Friday. And I've got some amazing patrons to shout out. Welcome and a heartfelt thanks to Esther, Sigrid L., Holly B., Molly, Tara S., and Zextrin. All right, when we left off yesterday, Stephen and Grace had just had the sweetest, hottest makeout, and then this bonehead apologized to her, making her feel like a dirty mistake. Then she stepped on a severed head. It's a rough day for our old pal Grace. That's where we're jumping back in. And meanwhile, he's trying to also explain that it has nothing to do with her. She's wonderful. And she can't hear that in this moment, obviously. No. And so as she's like stomping away, she's like, oh my gosh, there's a weird smell. What's happening with that awful smell? And then she steps on a severed head.
And it pops like a freaking water balloon. It's like stepping on a rotten pumpkin.
Yeah.
Smells worse.
Wow, Sabrina, that was a really excellent visual. So they
I'm
obviously
fascinated that it was a visual for you because it's a tactile thought.
Well, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. It's like, you know, whatever happened to me just now, whatever happened to my body, it was like
visceral.
Thank you. Yep, exactly.
It was a visceral response.
So they have to call the City Watch, obviously, and we meet a character who's going to be mildly pivotal in Book 3. And so he's like, you know, she's like wrapped up in a blanket. They have to tell their story to like 4 different dudes, you know, they have to like start over every time a new person comes in. And then finally he's like, okay, I think we're going to be okay. You can go home soon, but I'm going to make sure you have an escort. And she's like, I do not want you escorting me home at all, like not even close. And he's like, I actually had a feeling you would feel that way. And so Shane is coming and he's gonna escort you home instead because Stephen is so conscientious all the time. So Shane escorts her home.
And that night, Stephen is so racked with guilt that he ends up going and waking Istvan up so that he can have confession, basically.
Yes, do a Saint of Steel confession. Wait, but before that, as he's going home with her, she finds out why all the boys smell like gingerbread. Because that's one of the things that, like, built, you know, like, it sowed a seed in her heart, and Stephen has not left since, you know? Mm-hmm. And it's because Istvan makes his own muscle rubs. And so Shane's like, it's actually not all Paladins. It's really just Istvin's friends. And she's like, oh, okay. All right. Well, thanks a lot, Istvan. Setting me up for this absolute humiliation.
It's all Istvin's fault. Yeah. Frankly.
He shouldn't have smelled so unique and yummy and comforting and wonderful.
Well, and so now Steven is doing his little, like, confession times with Istvan. It's so, like, I could have cried because he's looking at Istvan, and Istvan's like, well, why don't you go, like, talk to her? You know, like,
explain.
One, I can't believe you woke me up for this, you fuck. This
is not a sin.
Thing.
You're a dummy.
And then Steven is talking about, he's like, Istvan's like, I don't see the problem, bud. Like, why can't you go after her? And Steven's like, the problem is the saint is dead. There's this giant hollow thing in my chest. I'm broken. And I can't even use a jokey voice on this because he says, I'm broken. You're broken. We're all of us broken. Istvan shrugged. Lots of people get broken in life, Steven. We're not special. Very few people had their God ripped out of their souls. I'll give you that. Still, if we limited loving to just the sane, undamaged people, the next generation would have about 3 people in it. And presumably humanity would die out shortly afterward. And like the way Kingfisher just like weaves in these like, it's so much like actually talking to friends. You know what I mean? Like, it feels so real where it's like these bombs get dropped. Like, we're all broken. You're not special. Like, we're not special. And then he's like, and also like, it's not just like lovey people, like sane, undamaged people, because like, we'd all be gone. Yeah. That's the apocalypse.
But then he's like, yeah, but most people who are damaged won't like see their love being threatened and then take down an entire city block as a result.
Which fair,
and but like he's not wrong.
But also, that's our favorite kind of hero on this, one of our favorite kinds of heroes on this pod. You know,
one of the sub favorites. Yeah,
we like a man who will burn it all
down the world
for you. Even if it's twisted. You know.
Yeah, maybe even, especially when it's twisted. I don't know. Look, who knows?
I thought you were about to say even maybe if it was broken, and I will say again, it was. King Twisted Melody. Okay, I am channeling Kim and Alexis this very second to reiterate that it was twisted.
Thank you so much. That's a deep cut from last year, 2 years ago.
King of Flesh and Bone.
That's the one. So now they realize that like it's a very specific smell. It's not just the smell of decay that comes off of these heads. There's like a burning kind of weird, incredibly unique smell. So now Steven shows up and he comes to like apologize for what happened. I think we skipped them dropping off the perfume to the royal.
We sure did.
Yeah,
that's a thing
sorry,
that happens, listener. At some point, she drops off the perfume to the royal. He goes as the guard. Actually, I was aware that we had skipped it. I was just
okay.
I didn't realize, I didn't remember how important that was because again I'm remembering this book as we're going through it. Basically there's a whole scene and it was very funny and I have a quote from it, but I'm not going to go back to it, where there's more peeing in a circle because like they're basically fighting. Him and Ethan are like peeing in circles around her.
Davuchet or whatever his stupid name is.
They're
both like, oh, well, I can take care of her. And Steven's like, I'm her man-at-arms. Thank you so much.
They're apparently the fucking crown prince of... Bushwigan.
Sure.
That's not even close to right. But he like conducts his business lounging on his bed.
Yeah, he's full-on cabanaing right now. Inside.
Yeah, but it's not like a designated like cabana business place. This is just his bedroom.
Right. Yeah. Welcome.
Okay. That's real weird.
I mean, he gets to do whatever he wants.
But yeah, so royal. They went there. She dropped off of all of the stuff and then we are back to present time, so continue,
Yeah, and so
Melody.
Stephen is going to go and apologize to her and tell her that he had a stick up his ass and he's a dummy and that she's perfect and he never wants to hurt her again. Except when he shows up to her perfumery, the place is in shambles and only Marguerite is there. And Marguerite is like, oh my God, I'm so glad you're here. Thank goodness. What are we going to do? And he's like, I don't know. I don't know what's happening. Like, and she's like, Grace has been arrested and I don't know why. All I know is that they didn't take her to like the regular jail town. Instead, they took her to like this specialty jail place. And so Isfen's like, okay, all right, I got to fix this right now. So,
Not Isfen.
God bless America. Stephen is like, I got to fix this right now. And so he goes and he gets the bishop of the White Rat, the HBIC of the whole White Rat Temple in this city. And they show up and Grace has been arrested. The charge is attempted poisoning of the royal.
And then we have some fucked up stuff that made me so mad because this is just something that happens in our world all the time, where one of the teat suckers brought a confession into her that was already written out and was like, all right, you signed this. And he's surprised because she can read. Because a lot of people can't read, and she reads it and it's her it's a confession.
Yeah.
And he's like,
and he says
"You just
things
need
will
to-"
go so much faster and easier if you just sign this.
And then she reads it, and it's her basically signing her death sentence.
Correct.
For killing the crown prince. And she's like, I'm not signing that, buddy.
That's not true. And he's like, no, you really got to. And then one of the city guards is like, hey, man, you get to present it to her. You don't get to badger her into signing it. Thank you so much. I will escort you out now, teat sucker. So then the bishop and Stephen show up. And he comes into the room and she's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're here. Does she hug him? I feel like she does. And he's like, I came to apologize and I found out that you were arrested. And so we're going to figure this out. And the bishop is like, all right, the Temple of the White Rat is going to defend you. Period. The end. And we'll figure it out from there.
Listener,
we
meet Zale, and I am obsessed with Zale. Zale is some flavor of non-binary property lawyer who is going ahead and doing this because normally the criminal lawyer, like the normal criminal lawyer, is off doing criminal lawyering somewhere else. And Zale is so cool and so fun.
Silver-haired.
And just beautiful in every way, inside and out. And
it's
flagellation
wonderful.
Central, listener. Okay,
yeah, for Sabrina over there. Saint Sabrina isn't looking so saintly.
I am looking plenty saintly. Thoughts are not a crime, Melody. Okay. Thoughts are not a crime.
So now we get to watch 3 days of a sham trial, all right? Because the biggest issue for the city that they're in is that they need to be appearing to be taking action on this foreign dignitary's attempted murder.
Well, also, nobody can see the crown prince. Nobody's allowed to see him except for his like inner circle because he's actively dying.
Right.
And then one of the assholes, somebody that she knows, comes in one of the nights and is like,
"Do you want me to tell you who it is?"
Yep.
It's his right-hand servant boy who made the order in particular. And, like, took her to lunch at one point, and he's been getting very friendly with her.
Real flirty.
Yeah, and so he comes in being like, I want to save the prince's life so badly, and if I save the prince's life, I think that's really going to help your charges, too. So, like, let's brainstorm what's going on. How could the prince have been murdered with poison? And she's like, I don't really know a ton about poisons, but, like, I guess it could be this, or like, you know, gloves that he put on or blah, blah, blah. And they spend a lot of time talking through different options and she asks about his symptoms and everything because she's trying to help save this man. So then the second day of the trial, everything goes sideways.
Mm-hmm.
One is that guy, Dremuche, I think his name is, gets called up to the witness stand. She thinks that he is going to speak on her behalf, and instead, he tells the court that he, last night, had the most damning conversation with her, and she told him about all the ways she knows how to poison people, and different delivery methods, and different herbs she could use, and all of her dastardly plans. And so obviously she's guilty. And she's like, that is not the correct characterization of our conversation. I was trying to help save the man. And he's like, I didn't get that from her at all. Like, wow, that's miscommunication, I guess. But like, my interpretation is the right one.
Mm-hmm.
When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, like aloe or skins, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and brilliant marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business, making selling and, for shoppers, buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. Nobody does selling better than Shopify. With Shop Pay, that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts are going abandoned and way more sales happening. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell whatever your customers are scrolling or strolling on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Skins uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Westwood1, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Westwood1 to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/Westwood1.
Back so soon? Oh no, what happened?
A little incident at the dog park. We gotta head to the vet.
Oh, not again. These bills.
We can use CashNet USA. We can apply in minutes, get a fast decision, and have the money in the account as soon as the same business day. All right, Cheddar, back in the car.
When you need money fast, be the hero. All loans subject to lender approval. Speed of funding is subject to verifications and your bank's processing times. See CashNetUSA.com for more details.
For more than 50 years, National University has been a military-friendly, yellow-ribbon school that understands the importance of honor and commitment. With 4- and 8-week classes available, year-round enrollment, and more than 190 programs to choose from, we help veterans just like you define the next chapter of their careers. Learn more at nu.edu. That's nu.edu.
So then Marguerite is supposed to show up, and instead there is a surprise witness. And it is her capital H husband.
Mm-hmm.
Not ex-husband, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because she never filed any formal paperwork. She just walked 3 days in the snow with a civet tied to her gullet in order to escape this man, okay? And so he comes in and they question him and they're like, do you think she would do this? And he's like, well, I couldn't put anything past her, really. It's like, I don't even know her after she ran away. And we watch her have this like sensory memory of a few different times in their relationship.
Oh my God, we did not talk about this, and this is hugely important.
Okay.
Like a week ago, somebody broke into her perfumery, though, and they stole all of her journals. And so now she doesn't have her journals for perfuming anymore.
She doesn't have all of her recipes and years of trial and error.
But one of her books is some old book that she had taken from the original guy, and it's like full of just
wacky shit.
But one of the things is that it's full of quote unquote poison recipes.
Right.
And they stole this book, and so now this is their proof that she is.
Yes.
And like, boy, that's
tough.
That's rough.
Doesn't look good, I would say. Well, not to mention that perfumers in this time and place have the reputation of being excellent poisoners. So anyway, the husband comes and she has this memory because they had a really bad relationship and he definitely used her for her talent and then made her feel incredibly small and held her back because he is actually incredibly small. And he cheated on her all the time, and he tried, and he was terrible in bed. And then he blamed her for being terrible in bed instead of, like, you know, trying to figure out different ways to please her body. He just said, your body is broken because I'm an excellent lover, and you're the worst. So she's always thought she was bad at sex. And she's, like, never had an orgasm with a partner, and it's a whole deal, right? So he gives this testimony against her that's like, yeah, she was always so paranoid, thinking I was cheating on her. And she's like, 'cause you were, she says out loud in the courtroom. And he's like, you see what I'm saying here? And then Stephen sees red, the battle tide rises, and he's like, people were screaming. Yeah.
Before that happens, though, note, Stephen has witnessed. This is the scene that we talked about last episode where he sees the smooth men for the first time. This has happened before this.
Oh, quite.
Because he sees the thing in the alley, blah, 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 with the unhinged jaw and just full on, like, biting somebody's head off and shoving a head in. Yeah, blah, blah,
ceramic.
blah. And the reason that's important is because when he sees red, he goes full berserker, except not full berserker because he doesn't actually level this building. But he does, like, walk up, and he's not really in control of himself, and he ends up being arrested. And the cell that he gets thrown into, he's like, boy, everybody, apparently this prisoner is called Stinker by everyone in the prison.
I mean,
in the jail. And it's, like, very clearly ill. He literally thinks it's just a pile of rags in the corner. And then he is like, man, that smells kind of weirdly familiar. And then he realizes it's a smooth man. Smooth face. Yeah.
So it is a rotting corpse being animated by this ceramic head, right? And, like, whatever the magic is smells real bad.
This series is fantastic, but these two books, boy, they're not easy if you're a squeamish person. I'm just like, it's worth it to power through it, but like, boy, there were some scenes that Kingfisher, I could do with you being an iota less good at description. You know, like you're fantastic about it, and when you're making me feel things that are a sin, that's great, but it's not so great.
It's good when it's
you're
vivid
making, when you're, you know, the visceral reaction that Melody had about the pumpkin. That was me the entire book. Every time she started talking, anytime I can't even talk.
Sabrina's fine over there. So, okay.
Heinous.
So, yeah, he gets arrested and thrown out. He was one of her character witnesses. And so the only other person she is thinking is available is Marguerite. And then Marguerite doesn't show up. And so she's like, I'm dead. Like, this is going terribly. I'm going to be convicted and executed. This is bananas. Except that she hears when that night in her cell, she hears like, because when Stephen recognizes this is a smooth man who eats people in order to get their bodies, he goes full berserker. He smashes the ceramic thing all up, and then he Hulk smashes those bars apart, and he's loose in the world now.
And then we zippy zap, and we don't know what happened to him. So now there's a scritchy scratch on the window of her third floor cell. And it's Stephen. He ends up breaking that window.
Yoinks the whole window out and crawls in. And she's like, hi, what's happening? This is the third floor. And he's like, okay, I'm not totally with it right now, okay? All I know
this is so funny.
I'm going in and out, okay? All I know is that we got to get you out of here. Are you coming with me?
Yeah, I don't exactly remember how I got here, but like, let's do this. And then like somebody like comes up and like he thinks that they're a threat. He goes a little bit berserker, but it's not just like that. When he's a berserker, it's like dragging a drunk toddler around because he keeps trying to fight like barrels.
Yeah, and like light posts and stuff.
He's like, put 'em up. You looked at my lady funny, puss. Stick 'em up, buddy.
That's
And
right.
she's like, come on, buddy. Come on, babe. Hey,
Yep.
sweetheart. Hey.
Come here. So in that place, luckily, since it's the specialty jail place, there are only 2 guards. Both of those guards try to get in his way, and he does put them aside with no problem whatsoever.
There might be a little bit of twisting going on.
Yeah, legs may be twisted at the end of their encounters. And so then they end up outside of the city, and she takes him to an old church that is in the cemetery that she almost got arrested by those mother's milk cult teat suckers.
By the way,
Yeah.
we didn't talk about this, but this was so romantic because her cat went missing. Tab escaped. And that is
The weasel went missing. That was the other
Yes.
thing. She was like,
please find him.
yeah.
And
Steven dropped everything.
Steven finds
Found him.
Tab. But he
Yeah.
also finds her, like, go bag.
One of
And
her
I don't
stashes of
mhm.
go baggery.
Yeah, and so
Because
he
that's-
knows that
because
she's
Tab
already
found-
running from something. But
Yeah.
this is just, like, proof. And then that's what blows his mind. That's what causes the berserker. Is he's like, this guy is an asshole, but also he's realizing
He
this
hurt
is why
her.
she has go bags.
Yeah.
Is this man.
Yeah. So they end up in this cemetery. They go up into like the loft of the church. And this is when the magic happens, everyone.
Everything about this is wrong, and I reread it at least
So
4
bad.
times.
So
This whole scene is
terrible.
incredible.
Yeah, it really is.
It's very like,
It's empowering. It's gentle.
Yes.
The consent is on point. Like, there are so many moments where he's like, hey, did you... So they're going to have sex. Hello, everybody. That's what we're talking about. And he's like, hey, are you still with me? And she's like, I'm just worried I'm going to be bad at it. And he says one of the best things that I've ever read in a romance novel, because he goes, well, first of all, there's absolutely no way you're bad at it. Like, judging from the way that you've like responded when we kissed and stuff, that's what he's thinking.
but
then
also
out
like
loud-
hilariously, listener, just remember that he was like actively thinking that she was bad at this in that alleyway. He was like, wow, she's bad at this.
Wow, she doesn't
So
do
just-
humping and porn star noise as well.
It made me laugh when now he's like,
Well, he thought that she was bad at it because in that moment of play acting, she was. But then when she has a genuine sexual feeling,
Yes, absolutely.
she's
It
totally
just-
natural.
it just made me laugh.
Really, yeah. So, but then he looks at her and he says, well, I've always thought that first times were sort of a trial run anyway. So if you want, we can just try it out and then we might get better at it as we go.
Yeah.
And she's like,
you know?
oh my God, that takes all the pressure off. That's incredible. And they have the best sex. And then one of my favorite parts about this sex scene is that like so they're in like missionary, she's on the bottom and he penetrates her and then she's like, oh my gosh, this is feeling really, really good. And he's like, also, I've been in a berserker rage for like half a day. I barely have the energy to keep my eyes open, let alone like rock your world in the sack. So I really want to have this like connection with you, but let's not put too much pressure on it. And so as he's penetrating her, he looks at her and he says, touch yourself. Come on, I need you to get there. I want you to come for me. So touch yourself. And she thinks to herself, oh my God, my ex-husband never. Well, so first of all, sorry, everybody. I'm such a mess right now. So.
Yep, Melody is the mess in this relationship right
God
now.
damn it.
Melody is the one here who's a hot mess.
We're rewinding again. So after they have this conversation about like, let's not put too much pressure on it. We'll just use this as a trial run. He like goes to kiss down her body and do some oral on her. And she has this moment of like, oh my God, this is where it all went wrong with my fucking ex. And so she goes, actually, I don't really like that very much. I'm really sorry. And he's like, there's nothing to be sorry about. Like, how about I just do like a little petting with my hand? How does this feel? And she's like, oh, that's nice. And he's like, does it feel good if I do this? And she's like, oh, golly. Oh, wow. And then he ends up penetrating her. And as he's like getting closer and closer, he's like, I want you to come for me. And so he says, touch yourself. And she is gobsmacked by this because her husband never would have. It would be like an insult to his masculinity for her to do any kind of touching on herself to get her over the edge. And boy, she comes and they come together and it's like the best thing in the whole wide world.
And then they just pass out in a puddle of adorable.
Yes.
And they wake up. So he wakes up I don't remember who wakes up, but they wake up the next morning in this church loft.
Yeah.
And
he thinks about maybe doing something again.
Yeah, but then Isfin's head pops over the top. And he's like, hey, buddy, we're all here.
Yeah.
So if you want to put some trousers on.
And the whole city is on a manhunt for you. So maybe you should, cool it on the P&V action and do more like sortie stuff after you get dressed.
Yeah.
Steven's like, oh shit, okay.
Yeah. So they get down there and then we have it is just, those scenes in movies?
Yes,
where
it's like that scene in Taming of the Shrew where like people are coming out of different doors at the end and being like, here's this piece of information. Oh my God, I found this out. And like, what's she doing over there? That is this end scene because the Paladins are all there and they're like, well, you're one of us. We're going to burn it down. Then Bertrand, the bishop, Berton, thank you, rolls up in her carriage and she's like, hey, everybody, wish you would have told me that there was a 4-alarm fire.
Where do you think the name Beartongue came from? Is that her actual name? Is this something Ursa related? Does she have secrets that we don't know about?
How do you spell it?
Bear. B-E-A-R. Beartongue.
Tongue, T-O-N-G-U-E?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know that. I always heard it as Bearton.
No, it's Beartongue. Bishop Beartongue.
Fascinating.
I'm in a mood
Podcasting
today.
is a muscle that you need to, flex regularly in order for it to be any kind of okay.
You know what? We are having a ride tonight. And
we are.
That's okay.
We're going on a ride. So Beartongue shows up and she's like, hey, you are not slick at all. Never try to be spies, all of you Paladins. Because you talked about where you were going, like, in the courtyard of the White Rat. Like, of course I'm here. Of course I found you.
Yeah.
For more than 50 years, National University has been a military-friendly, yellow-ribbon school that understands the importance of honor and commitment. With 4- and 8-week classes available, year-round enrollment, and more than 190 programs to choose from. We help veterans just like you define the next chapter of their careers. Learn more at nu.edu. That's nu.edu.
This podcast is supported by Talkspace.
When my husband came home from his military deployment, readjusting was hard for all of us. Thankfully, I found Talkspace.
Talkspace provides professional support from licensed therapists and psychiatric providers online. Military members, veterans, and their dependents ages 13 and older can get fast access to providers, all from the privacy of their computers or smartphones.
I just answered a few questions online, and Talkspace matched me with a therapist. We meet when it's convenient for me, and I can message her anytime. It was so easy to set up, and they accept TRICARE. Therapy was going so well, my husband and I started seeing a couples therapist through Talkspace, too.
Talkspace works with most major insurers, including TRICARE. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com/military. Go to Talkspace.com/military to get started today. That's Talkspace.com/military.
Everybody sleeps, but no two people sleep alike. At Coop Sleep Goods, we celebrate the way you sleep differently. We believe everyone deserves a great night's sleep with their own pillow. And the adjustable, customizable Coop pillow makes it easy. Whether you're a side sleeper, back sleeper, or even a starfish, we've got the perfect pillow for you. Crafted with our innovative memory foam and microfiber fill, our hypoallergenic pillows adjust to you, not the other way around. Just tailor the fill for the perfect fit. Add some in, take some out, until your pillow's just right for you. See why luxury hotels and spas worldwide feature Coop Sleep Goods and why we have tens of thousands of 5-star reviews. With our 100-night risk-free trial, you've got nothing to lose, except those sleepless nights. Get 25% off your first order when you visit coopsleepgoods.com/comedy. That's COOP sleepgoods.com/comedy.
So she's like, all right, we're going to keep you protected. But then all of those teat suckers, those mother milk cultists show up.
And the guard captain shows up.
And like a member of the court or whatever. And they're and he's like, get her. We're going to execute her right now. And Bertong is like, I'm going to need you to take several seats. City Watchman, this is a bad move. This would be a bad political move. And then, that royal servant right-hand man shows
Ethan
up.
shows up.
Yeah, and he's like, she did it. Also, the royal is
Prince
dead.
is dead.
So it's a murder now. She did a murder, and we have to shoot her right now with a bow and arrow.
And then you make a better horsey noise. And then the crown prince shows up, and he's like, hey, guess what? I'm not dead. And actually, I realized I was being poisoned, so I stopped eating food that y'all were giving me and drinking things y'all gave me. And I only let my most trusted people in here and where I was. And also, Ethan is saying that all of these things happened to me that didn't actually happen. And how would you know that that's what would be causing my death if you'd never seen me and I'm not actually dead?
Unless you are the one who was doing the poisoning. And so, oh boy, it is over now. They arrest that guy.
Ethan, he tries to do the cyanide thing, but it ends up not working. Crown Prince stops it and takes him into custody. They're headed back to Wickerbottom. And then the Bear Tongue is like, all right, let's go to, we're taking, like, until all of this is figured out, Stephen and Grace are going to be under my custody at the Temple of the White Rat. And then,
because their whole thing is like, he might have done a little berserking, but he only did that because she was arrested for a crime that didn't exist.
Well, and also apparently teat suckers, their
mandate is only poisoning and like something else.
Only poisonings. And so now that it's not a poisoning issue, it's under her jurisdiction. Wow.
And it's like real embarrassing for that mother's milk cultist, you know? They really went crazy without any proof whatsoever. So now they're all back at the temple.
That's not relatable.
And they
people don't do that.
No, what? And then they take Grace home, and he is ready to fall on the sword. He's in Bishop Bertong's office, and he's like, you can lock me away. You can murder me. I went off the handle. I proved everyone right about berserkers, and I'm ashamed, and I should be punished. And Bertong is like, yeah, it was crazy the way that you, I don't know, fought that statue in the city square. Like the grandson of the guy who did that statue is pretty upset about your berserk rage. But other than that, that's pretty much the only damage you did. And he's like, wait, nobody's dead? And she's like, no, there's like some, fairly mild injuries on the guards. But again, they were essentially participating in a false imprisonment of her. And so I don't think anybody's going to be really mad about this. And you need to be easier on yourself and all of your fellow paladins of the Saint of Steel, because even without the god controlling your berserk rage, you always stopped before anyone was, maimed. Yeah. And no one was killed. So she's like, I think
you're
you should
not
trust
actually
yourself
a
more.
bad guy.
Yeah.
Shockingly.
Yeah, you're not a wild animal all the time. So then he goes, when they were sitting there with the prince before they do all of this, I'm really sorry. It's very important to me and future, friendships all over the place. She looks at the prince and she's like, how did you know we were here? And he's like, oh, your friend Marguerite. I have no idea how she got into my personal suite. Like, I'm going to have words with a lot of my staff about how she managed to get into my suite. But yeah, Marguerite showed up and told me everything was happening because I had no idea that this farce was being, was happening.
And
so
affecting you like that, yeah.
Yeah. And so she has been thinking that Marguerite just abandoned her and cut bait and left her hanging out to dry. And she's like, oh my God, no. Marguerite was doing everything she could to save me. And that's going to be really important because Marguerite's going to disappear for like 4 years or something crazy.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah. So then Steven shows up at Grace's house and he's like, hey, I'm wondering if maybe you might want to like part-time date a paladin,
Hang on. Please hold.
Okay. Yeah.
This is when Steven gets taken by the city guard to look at, they found a building full of clay heads.
Oh, yeah.
For the Smooth Men. And that's what prompts the whole thing in book 2, which is, important. That's what kicks all of that off. And then Grace is offered that all charges are going to be dropped against her if she recreates the smell so that they can give it to other guards and things like that.
And other cities.
Yes, and so they can kind of keep an eye out that way. And so, yeah, anyway. So, but when they get back to her house, Marguerite's gone. And there's a note.
Oh,
Marguerite
my God.
cleaned everything up. Marguerite left a note and a deed to the building and is like, hey, guess what? I'm not actually Marguerite. And this is yours now. And I'll see you later, kid. Glad everything worked out. Again. And then Philip, her asshole husband, shows up like a not sweet weasel.
Sure.
And Steven, he lets her stand up for herself, but he
just
also
stands there very stoically,
looking menacing,
making sure she knows that he is there to support her if she needs it, but he knows that she can handle her own business on her own if she would like to. And she dresses Philip down.
God, that's sexy.
It's so hot. And it's perfect for her/them, like it really was this testament to how much they've gotten to know each other and how much they have connected on these really important points that are pivotal to their personalities and like sometimes for him at least like undermines his whole personality, right? And so, yeah, she gives him a dressing down and she's like, you can go fuck yourself. And he's like, yeah, I guess you're right. Okay.
I guess I will go fuck myself.
I'll see you never.
See ya.
And he leaves. And then she like gets him a stool so that he can sit in her studio and quietly knit while she does perfume stuff.
Yeah, and it's like the sexiest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, he's like...
Because she wants him in her private sanctum because they work well together and she likes him being around.
Yeah, and he respects her work so much, And so he's like, hey, I was wondering if you want to like date a paladin. I'm still going to work for the White Rat, but when I'm not working for them, I figure I could hang out with you while you work. And she's like, that sounds hot as fuck. And we're together forever.
Together
and it's
forever,
the best.
Z's.
They're the cutest. And I love them so much.
I love them. And like, oh my God, Steven, your hand knit socks are so sexy. Okay?
What a crafting king.
Crafty king.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I loved this book. I fucking loved this book.
I love this whole book. I love this whole series. Book 3 is Tomato Man / Galen, who we met in last book, and he wasn't super in this book. And then Dr. Piper, the autopsy boy.
God, I'm so freaking excited. I'm
Yeah.
so excited.
And like we learn so much about gnolls and gnoll society
Mhm.
and the cultural clash between gnolls and humans. It is there's like a fucking obstacle course / maze situation that they have to do in order to solve crime. There's some social justice
Man,
bullshit
I can't
that
wait
is
to read
just
this tomorrow.
absolutely incredible and like had me spontaneously crying in public because it was like so poignant and sweet at the same time. Oh, it's so good. And then the fourth book is Marguerite, our spy, and then Shane, the paladin who's too pretty for life and so instead grows a scraggly beard that everybody hates and is very unfortunate.
Mhm.
And Marguerite, the premise of that book is that Marguerite, one of the organizations she used to work for, different factions of it won't stop trying to kill her. And like, she's tried polite ways to get them to stop, you know? And like, part of them were like, yeah, okay, we'll stop. But then a different part was like, no, we're going to slit your throat anyway. And so she's like, so my only option is to dismantle this entire economy and this entire trade organization because they won't stop coming for me. And I'm going to do it via spyness.
Love a woman on a mission, you
Yeah,
know?
like all I want to do is feel safe again. Is that so much to ask? And Bertong is like, no. And also, if it saves us that much money as we're taking care of all of the people all over the world, then like, this is even better. And so she sends the paladins with her. We get to know a lot about Quinn. Quinn, one of the lady paladins.
I'm so ready for any and all of the Lady Paladin books.
And it
am
also
desperate.
sets up the other lady paladin who's like really standoffish. Oh, and there is a bombshell dropped at the end of book 3 that has to do with like the god and that overall plot line that's bananas. And the fourth book is all about like Shane and his feelings of inadequacy and constant failure because of how he's been like passed over by one god and then his other god was ripped from his
Died
chest
on
after
him.
it died. Yeah. And it's just fucking gorgeous. They're
So
both
why do I get the
fucking
feeling
gorgeous.
you're gonna get some screamy text messages when I finish the third book
If
tomorrow?
you don't send me screamy text messages, I don't think we're friends. Like that's not an ultimatum. I'm just saying that like if you don't think of me and like want to send them, then I'm not sure we have the connection I think. You know what I mean?
I mean, but also you have to understand that I will probably sit down.
Oh yeah,
and
you could be in a
not
fugue state.
Move until the book is done.
That's fair. Yeah.
That has no bearing on how much I love you.
Well, I'll forgive you regardless. You know?
I mean, yeah, that's one of the beauties of us being both nightmare monster gremlins.
That's the one.
This podcast is supported by Talkspace.
When my husband came home from his military deployment, readjusting was hard for all of us. Thankfully, I found Talkspace.
Talkspace provides professional support from licensed therapists and psychiatric providers online. Military members, veterans, and their dependents ages 13 and older can get fast access to providers, all from the privacy of their computers or smartphones.
I just answered a few questions online, and Talkspace matched me with a therapist. We meet when it's convenient for me, and I can message her anytime. It was so easy to set up, and they accept TRICARE. Therapy was going so well, my husband and I started seeing a couples therapist through Talkspace too.
Talkspace works with most major insurers, including TRICARE. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com/military. Go to Talkspace.com/military to get started today. That's Talkspace.com/military.
Everybody sleeps, but no two people sleep alike. At Coop Sleep Goods, we celebrate the way you sleep differently. We believe everyone deserves a great night's sleep with their own pillow. And the adjustable, customizable Coop pillow makes it easy. Whether you're a side sleeper, back sleeper, or even a starfish, we've got the perfect pillow for you. Crafted with our innovative memory foam and microfiber fill, our hypoallergenic pillows adjust to you, not the other way around. Just tailor the fill for the perfect fit. Add some in, take some out, until your pillow's just right for you. See why luxury hotels and spas worldwide feature Coop Sleep Goods and why we have tens of thousands of 5-star reviews. With our 100-night risk-free trial, you've got nothing to lose, except those sleepless nights. Get 25% off your first order when you visit coopsleepgoods.com/comedy. That's COOP sleepgoods.com/comedy.
Did you know 39% of teen drivers admit to texting while driving? Even scarier, those who text are more likely to speed and run red lights. Shockingly, 94% know it's dangerous, but do it anyway. As a parent, you can't always be in the car, but you can stay connected to their safety with Greenlight Infinity's driving reports. Monitor their driving habits, see if they're using their phone, speeding, and more. These reports provide real data for meaningful conversations about safety. Plus, with weekly updates, you can track their progress over time. Help keep your teens safe. Sign up for Greenlight Infinity at greenlight.com/podcast.
What's your lady love, Mel?
What is my lady love? Great question. My lady love is having a DMV lady who is the sweetest. And so after I waited in one line and then waited outside and then waited in a different line and then had my papers confirmed in like this other line, I finally got to this wonderful DMV lady. She was so nice. We connected like immediately. And boy, she let me retake my driver's license photo and coached me so that I had only one chin.
I'm so...
I know.
I'm so fucking jealous. I look like I am going to fucking prison for the cold-blooded murder of 18 children.
Nuns. Okay, fair. Yeah.
Just the most innocent. It is the mugshot of somebody with nothing happening inside except
shark eyes,
evil.
Yeah,
and like never once.
I know. And the crazy thing was, I didn't even ask her because I thought it was a foregone conclusion. You get one shot at this and then it's over. You know?
Yeah.
And so when I came back up, she was like gonna show it to me, and she showed it to me, and I was like, oh, there are so many chins. And she goes, oh, do you want to retake it? And I was like, what? What? Okay. And so I went back there and she was like, okay, my daughter said that like you need to do this thing with your head and like put your tongue in this position and then you'll have less chins. And I was like, what?
Wait.
And she retook my picture.
You had to do something with your tongue?
Yeah, if you like basically glue your whole tongue to the roof of your mouth, it pulls your throat up a little bit. Right there. And so if you do that and then stick your head forward a little bit, they can't tell because it's only a 2D photo, you know what I mean? And so you can't tell that your head is forward. You just get a very sleek jawline.
I keep doing the thing. I can see the tongue thing now. I'm watching myself in my video just sitting here tonguing the top of my mouth like a weirdo.
And you can see it like tightens up your neck too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. So having a DMV lady who coaches you into one solitary, beautiful chin is my lady love.
I'm having too much fun with this. I'm not even paying attention to you. I'm looking at myself, tongue doing things.
Doing tongue stuff? All right, Sabrina, what's your lady love?
My lady love... Actually, shockingly, even after taking a 30-minute bitch session with you before starting recording, I actually have a lot of lady loves right now.
Oh, yay!
I think that I honestly don't even know which one to pick.
Ooh.
I think I'm going to go with
You can do it. You can do it. You can always use the other ones later, you know?
Yeah. I think that my lady love today specifically, just because it is like, I'm sure that a lot of my lady loves over the next couple of episodes are going to be moving and house related, and not even necessarily house related, but like community, my people related, because my friends have really like, I was very nervous about this. That's my lady love. Is the friends I'm going back to, because and the friends that I'm leaving behind. Okay, so like where I live now, I have a complicated history with this town, and But one of the things that has me leaving is that it's hard to have the way that I moved here, it's hard to have community post that and things like that.
Right.
And ultimately, though, the people that I have made friends with are really good people. You know what I mean? Like people who I didn't even realize were important. Sometimes I'm finding out now we're more important to each other than I had realized. But specifically today, like this last couple of days, I've really been figuring out all of the move logistics and like the friend who's going to help take care of this house until it sells. And then the friends who are going to be my feet on the ground when the movers get there because I'm going to be dealing with the dogs, and the friends that are driving up just to be moral support while the movers are here and then helping me drive down because my dogs aren't dogs that travel. They've never been in a car for more than 10 minutes and it's a 4.5-hour drive from here to where I'm moving. And just like, I don't know, just like my lady love is just like my people. My lady love is my people.
It's
and
special,
like,
Sabrina.
Their support. And I'm just really, really happy that I really feel like I've won the people lottery in life. You know, like the people who I'm like close with and who love me. And like you're included in that. But like specifically, I'm just feeling a lot of feelings about the people who are like gathering around me to make this move successful.
Yeah.
And I just have a lot of feelings.
I love it. I'm so glad because it really is a whole nightmare.
God,
on so many levels.
Sucks.
Yeah. Every single part of it. The fucking worst.
Moving and buying a house sucks when everything goes good.
Really well. Yeah.
And
everything goes perfectly.
Lord knows. I must have done something fucked up in a past life. Because this move has been a nightmare.
Yeah.
Anyway. So.
All right.
Keeping a badass. Love yourself as much as you love a hand-knit sock, a functional present made with love.
That makes you cozy.
Oh, God. I love a cozy present.
And like he's a Sebastian St. Vincent because he cares for her so much. He is so broken. You know,
he's so broken.
And he always just wants to keep her safe and cozy. And wow, what a dreamboat, you know?
Yep.
Ugh.
And love yourself as much as we all love a 50-year-old bishop who fucks.
Yeah. And also is like the most competent in competence porn.
God, competence
to
boner.
The max.
Just, wow. That
bare tongue.
Bare tongue.
I'm all about it.
Love yourself as much as you love a super sexy property lawyer being your criminal lawyer.
NB property lawyer who just shows up when
love
you're in
Zale.
need.
Does Zale get a, do we think Zale's gonna end up? Zale's gotta be.
I have no idea. I have no idea.
We have how many more books in this series? 3 of them that aren't out yet? Because there's going to be one for every Paladin.
Yeah, it's going to be 7.
Oh my God. I'm sure you already have it all planned out, T. Kingfisher, because you're a genius. But
and we respect you.
I'm just letting you know.
Yeah.
That, like, I love a Zale. I would love a Zale book.
You know what I'm going to let T. Kingfisher off the hook for, though?
Mm-hmm.
I do not need a book where Amphibian Boy is the hero. I don't need it. It's okay. He can be a side character again if you want. Do you remember Amphibian Boy?
Oh my God, Toad Man?
And Toad Frog?
Toad Man.
Yes. The guy who single-handedly kept the ceramics business in his area going because he needs all of the wet pots to put
all of those wet pots.
Amphibians
in? I had forgotten about. I also did we scream about wanting a book for Amphibian Man?
No, I just wanted to put it out there that, like, there's no pressure at all.
Oh, so just a random side character. You don't need, like boy, if we're doing that, there's a lot of side characters we could say that about. We're letting you off the hook about a lot in that case, T. Kingfisher.
Sure, but specifically, I really don't need his book. That's all I'm saying.
What do you have against Amphibian Man?
I don't... I have...
You don't love a man who loves a toad?
I love a man who loves a toad. That's fine. That's not the issue. I just don't have time for this man because he cannot think about the feelings of others unless it's a toad. And I don't need that in my life.
See, and I would love to read a book about him realizing that there is a person just as important to him as a toad.
You know, I'm sure T. Kingfisher could write it. I'm just saying I'm not screaming from the rooftops for it.
Oh, no, I'm not screaming
That's
from
all.
the rooftops for it, but I will scream from the rooftops about Azael.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Keep
All
being a
right.
badass and love yourself as much as you love.
Going the fuck to sleep immediately.
Yeah, I'm crashing right now. Okay, bye.
Goodbye.
Thank you for coming back again this week. Next week, we're going to be back with The Best Man by Kristen Higgins. Heaving Bosoms is produced by us, Melody Carlisle and Sabrina Bradley. Editing is done by me, Melody Carlisle. Our theme music is by the incredible singer-songwriter Brittany Fonts, and our art is by the ultra-talented author Kate Pryor. If you like our show, remember to follow us on your favorite podcast app, rate us 5 stars, and leave a review. That one small action is a huge way to help the show. If you want to get in touch with us for advertising inquiries or anything else, you can email us at heavingbosomspodcast@gmail.com. If you want more of us, visit patreon.com/heavingbosomspodcast. You can also find us on Instagram at Heaving Bosoms, on TikTok at Heaving_Bosoms, and in our Facebook group, the Heaving Bosoms Geriatric Friendship Cult. See you next week.
This podcast is supported by Talkspace.
When my husband came home from his military deployment, readjusting was hard for all of us. Thankfully, I found Talkspace.
Talkspace provides professional support from licensed therapists and psychiatric providers online. Military members, veterans, and their dependents ages 13 and older can get fast access to providers, all from the privacy of their computers or smartphones.
I just answered a few questions online, and Talkspace matched me with a therapist. We meet when it's convenient for me, and I can message her anytime. It was so easy to set up, and they accept TRICARE. Therapy was going so well, my husband and I started seeing a couples therapist through Talkspace too.
Talkspace works with most major insurers, including TRICARE. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com/military. Go to Talkspace.com/military to get started today. That's Talkspace.com/military.
Everybody sleeps, but no two people sleep alike. At Coop Sleep Goods, we celebrate the way you sleep differently. We believe everyone deserves a great night's sleep with their own pillow. And the adjustable, customizable Coop pillow makes it easy. Whether you're a side sleeper, back sleeper, or even a starfish, we've got the perfect pillow for you. Crafted with our innovative memory foam and microfiber fill, our hypoallergenic pillows adjust to you, not the other way around. Just tailor the fill for the perfect fit. Add some in, take some out, until your pillow's just right for you. See why luxury hotels and spas worldwide feature Coop Sleep Goods and why we have tens of thousands of 5-star reviews. With our 100-night risk-free trial, you've got nothing to lose, except those sleepless nights. Get 25% off your first order when you visit coopsleepgoods.com/comedy. That's COOP sleepgoods.com/comedy.
Did you know 39% of teen drivers admit to texting while driving? Even scarier, those who text are more likely to speed and run red lights. Shockingly, 94% know it's dangerous but do it anyway. As a parent, you can't always be in the car, but you can stay connected to their safety with Greenlight Infinity's driving reports. Monitor their driving habits, see if they're using their phone, speeding, and more. These reports provide real data for meaningful conversations about safety. Plus, with weekly updates, you can track their progress over time. Help keep your teens safe. Sign up for Greenlight Infinity at greenlight.com/podcast.